Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Strange Horticulture, as we continue digging into this mystery, and see if we can find the root cause of what's going on. I feel like we've got a pretty good idea of how this all works. No point in beating around the bush. We'll jump right in. How much stranger could things possibly get? The old man of Coniston looks out across the lake with blind eyes. His mind wanders with the current, floating gently southwards to the fork. Not long after, the girl left home. Her father wept, but he was so caught up in his own grief that he let her go and did not look for her. For once, these two things, the card and the quote, almost seem related. That's interesting. Day 6, Wednesday. And it's raining again. I actually do like that. It's very soothing. As is that. Okay, we've got Coniston water right in the middle. Next to a mountain named the Old Man. His mind wanders with the current, floating gently southwards to the fork. The heavens open up as I reach the fork. I take a moment to pause and listen to the sound of water on water. I'm soaked through, but my spirits are high as I return home. I am not empty-handed. 2 new plants today. Two very similar plants. Interesting. At a glance, I'd almost think they were the same thing. Dark purple flowers. Well, thank you. That is sure to help. I would never have been able to tell that without this in-depth analysis. Light purple flowers. The smell is alluring. You know what? That actually does help. It highlights the difference in shade. And obviously we can also see the leaves are different. Okay, moving on. Hellebore. Eleanor Bramer. The insects make the salt marshes uninhabitable. People stay away and not much grows there. But I know where to find an unusual plant. I have drawn you a map, in case you decide it's worth your time. Oh, well, thank you. That's not normally how stories work, but okay. That's a dongle. Or an abstract rendition of the coastline, which we can match up right here. So we are headed to F2. Yeah, that looks right. The air is thick with flying, biting insects, an unbearable plague. I fight against it for mere moments before I am overwhelmed. If only I had some blue winter to keep them at bay. Please. I live in a swamp. That's just Tuesday. But we do have some winter boar. The blue winter saves my skin, but the swirling mass of insects is so thick in places that it is hard to see. At length I come across what I came for, and hurry away. Dranthium, mens fortis. A plant with powerful mind-altering abilities. Those who inhale smoke from burning its long, sharp leaves elevate their awareness to levels otherwise unachievable. Some know Dranthium as Green Eye, a name derived from the telltale signs of overdose, where even the whites of the eyes take on a greenish tint. So supernatural perception, but with an obvious visual side effect. Oh, and we also have a new plant. One with very distinctive, brightly colored thorns. As I recall, we were looking for something like that. Those thorns look menacing. I'm staying well clear of them. It was something with, Oh, yeah, here we go. Eyebright. Brightly colored thorns. Grows to the south in warmer climates. I guess that would technically cover swamps. Yeah, let's go ahead and tag that. I feel pretty good about that one. Eyebright. Tagged in yellow and sorted in. Bethany Coleman, the sister. Thank you for your help and discretion earlier. The sisterhood is grateful, but the news that the Arda was poisoned with gilded dendra has everyone worried. The temporary acting Arda is panicking. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but one of the sisters has gone missing. A runaway called Thea that we took in a few years ago. We're trying to find her, and Sister Charlotte remembered that the Jacob's Worth plant is said to help locate people. Oh, sure, yeah, that's the plant with the leaves that have a mind of their own. And I'll bet the missing sister is either the person they found sacrificed in Swinside, or the mysterious woman with the jade mask. There you go. Good luck. Solomon's Scepter, Vargamus Infernum. Also known alarmingly as Hell's Gate, and sometimes Solomon's Scorn. The flowers of the plant are commonly used in witchcraft and other satanic practices. Many sweet-smelling small flowers grow along the stem. Oh, that's, yeah, that's the light purple flowers with a pleasant smell. Interesting to see them name-dropping the S-Dog after they went through the trouble of setting up their own fictional cult. Well, Coven. I guess Coven and cult aren't technically the same thing. But yeah, I think we've got a match right here. Yep. Let's get that tagged. Peggy Morris. I read about a wonderful sounding ornamental plant, but my book didn't say what it was called or where to find it. Well, I'm gonna need more than that. It has curled leaves and a dark blue flower. Okay, I can work with that. That immediately makes me think of lemon dandy. But I wouldn't call that dark blue. Yeah, I'm not confident about that one. Forest camphor is dark blue, but I would not call those leaves curly. I'm looking at flower colors, trying to find one that, Oh! Lady of Summer, yes, that might be it. Those are some awfully curly-looking leaves. Huzzah! No payment, but that's fine. We are still making progress. Ennis, Aleford. We've had our eye on you for some time now. Join us. Praise the Dendru. Okay, I think we found our cult. Oh, yep, Ennis Aleford, the cultist. A man who claims to represent the group known as the Seeds of Redemption. He grew up in nearby Gosforth, but it is rumored that he spent some time living in Rydal Cave. It is not clear what happened in the intervening years, but by the time he came to Undermere, he had dedicated his life to the one he calls the Woken Dendru. Interesting. These guys sound like bad news. Gosforth is the place our pen pal specifically warned us about. But I will take that letter, because I have no choice. I represent a group called the Seeds of Redemption. Your expertise would be very useful to us, and we have much to offer in return. Let us know we can count on you by leaving a single St. John's poppy flower outside the Sadgill Church before Friday. Do not make the mistake of ignoring us. Praise the Dendru. St. John's poppy. Well, we definitely have that. I believe that was one of the very first plants we ID'd. Oh yeah, that's the one that improves hearing. We gave that one to Faye, I think, so she could eavesdrop on her neighbors. Yeah, and then they came back the next day to get something to scare the squatters out of the adjacent building. I think that was Faye. It might have been the occultist. The church isn't hard to find in the small hamlet of Sadgill. This must be the place. I'm not sure if we're going to actually join these guys, but I would like to keep our options open. Okay. I guess that's that. Moving on. Verona Green, the occultist. I have returned from Swinside. I must admit I was hoping for more to go on, but there were certainly signs of a ritual having been performed at the stone circle. And the poor victim, well, the less said about him, the better. So not the missing sister. Reuben had it right, though. Grisly. I have the beginnings of a theory, but I'd like to run some tests on a sample of the gilded dendra. Is that so? For such a rare and deadly plant, it sure does seem to get around. Maiden's Sorrow, Dolores spinatum. Rubbing the soft leaves of this plant between one's finger and thumb is said to help prevent the mind from wandering, providing a focusing effect. The flowers of this plant droop mournfully, but it is the thorns along its stem that are thought to lend it its name. Well, we do have one more thorned plant. The flower does look similar. I'm not sure I'd really call that drooping. Okay, yeah, let's tag that. I would feel better about it if the closer inspection specifically mentioned soft leaves. But, you know, they gotta keep you guessing. That's all part of the game. Hellebore. Anne Wood. My aunt died 2 weeks ago, and I inherited her house. I have been sifting through her possessions, and last night I found something unusual. In a forgotten corner of the attic, I found a coffin. More unusual still, it was bound by strong vines, so strong that I cannot cut through them. I immediately thought of your shop. You know about plants, right? Yes, I do, and it sounds like you've found yourself a coffin wrapped in swift snare, which we can remove. The real question, though, is, are you sure you want to do that? Best of luck, I guess. I'm sure she'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Elder Phinium, Major Corridalis. The petals of this flower can be brewed to create an antidote to Dendra's miasma, a deadly poison that causes the blood to slowly turn black, eventually resulting in a painful death. It has an intoxicating scent, similar to that of a Solomon's scepter. Interesting. Well, that sounds very important. But unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything at a glance that looks even remotely like this thing. The artistic rendering could be deliberately misleading, and given that this does sound like it's very, very important to the impending plot, I imagine they would go out of their way to obscure it. We'll just keep our eyes open, I suppose. And you know what? Let's try feeding a plant into this thing. See if that gets us anywhere. Oh, yep, and that is an excellent reason to not do that. Fair enough. I will wait for the appropriate clue. Good night, Hellebore. I'm just gonna go sleep off this rising dread. "5 miles south of the tallest but one, it grows in peace in the midday sun." Before she left, she returned to her hiding place and carefully retrieved the book, her excitement building as she did. She couldn't articulate what was so alluring to her about that book, but by now, it had become an obsession. I have to assume these are like psychic visions or prophetic dreams, similar to what Faye has been getting. Day 7. Thursday. Alright, let's start by petting Hellebore. And then we'll check this out. "5 miles south of the tallest but one." 5 miles south of the tallest but one. Well, the only thing here with height markers is the mountains. So that feels pretty obvious. They're mostly clustered around the top, with a couple down south. Just trying to pick out the tallest, which I guess would be Seafell Pike. Yeah, so I guess we're headed south from Bowfell. The forest here is lush and vibrant. The birdsong feels enchanting, like the call of sirens. Nestled in the undergrowth under the shade of a birch tree, a plant grows. Nice. That's a weird one. Not the same kind of weird as Elderfinium, though. But definitely up there. Alright, let's have a look at this. A large blue flower with an odd protrusion. Yeah, I agree. That is very odd and completely unhelpful. Thank you. Guess we'll just set that one aside for now. Anne Wood. I was able to strip away the swift snare's vine and lift the lid. With more than a little trepidation, I'll admit. To my relief, but also disappointment, the coffin contained nothing but dust. At least, that's what I thought at first. But when I looked closer, I discovered a golden amulet embedded in the gray ash, which you are now wearing. On the back of the amulet is an inscription that says, "With Solomon's scepter, I awake." Solomon's scepter, that's a plant, right? Yes, it is. It's used for satanic rituals. This all seems like a terrible idea. But you're the customer, so here you go. I'm sure that'll end well. Long Vericund, Humilis proceria. Sometimes called Witch's Remedy, the long vericund is believed to lift curses. Small leaves grow in pairs along the stem. Lifting curses, huh? You don't say. Well, it's just a shame that we don't seem to have that one in stock right now. This is quite a town. David Chafer, the mailman. I heard a shepherd got killed by some wild beast up near the Swinside Stone Circle. They say it slaughtered half his flock as well. People around here don't seem too bothered, but it's got them panicked down Foxfield Way. Foxfield. I think that's the town right next to Swinside, so yeah, that would make sense. Kentmere Eye. Right, okay, yes, I know what this is. I was just thinking about this earlier when I was going through our remaining clues and whatnot. I think we actually went to Kentmere. I think that was like episode 1, and we didn't find anything of note there. And then we also have to remember Foxfield. I want to check that out later, but we'll do this first. We just need to take that coin, that weird coin we found on day 1, and center it over Kentmere, and then see where the eye points us. Well, not as clean as I'd like, but I think it's this spot. From Kentmere, I follow the bearing of the eye and end up in a small forest north of Kendal. The woods are thick with briar and brambles, but amongst the tangled undergrowth a type of flower is flourishing. Interesting. That one looks similar to witch fig and fever pitch. Well, the berries are similar. The leaves are completely different. Thin leaves and small purple-red berries. Thin leaves. Thin leaves. That's probably a clue. Again, we'll just set that one aside for now. Verona Green, the Occult Scholar. Well, this is getting interesting. I was able to confirm that it was indeed gilded dendra that was used at the Swinside ritual site. That's a worrying sign. It's a plant that is used in several of the darker incantations. And to kill people. And it can't be a coincidence that the very same plant was used to poison the Arda. There must be a connection between the other murder and the Sisterhood. I need some mental clarity to think it through some more. Some maiden sorrow would help a lot. Would it now? I think that is literally the, that's the plant she just helped us ID yesterday. I feel like they might be getting a little too linear with some of these paths. But yeah, that's definitely the same one. Red Ebony, Occultus grandis. This plant is said to uncover that which is hidden, including buried treasure and secret writings. The red ebony is extremely rare and not well studied. Blood has been spilled over this plant, which is where the red part of the name is believed to come from, since, confusingly, the large flower is, in fact, blue. Is that so? Well, gosh, I think we do, in fact, have something that sounds just like that. Let's tag this thing, and then we will load up our lenticular device. I'm not actually sure what this thing's called. I'm not sure they ever gave us a name. Let me just get this sorted in while I'm still thinking about it. Okay, so this thing is clearly some sort of, like, magnifying glass? Said to reveal secrets. It works. And I was correct in that they did not, in fact, give us a name for this thing. So I will just continue calling it the lenticular device. Right, the combination thing glows. But we already knew that was there. Okay, well, we're not going to sit here and check every page of this book. But I will do that off screen, just in case. I'll check the stuff in our archives, too. Property of Nicholas Culpepper. I think that was our uncle? I'd have to double check that. The Great Oak. Tomb of the Hunter. Elderfinium grows here, which we know is what you need to cure gilded dendra poisoning, so we probably want to grab that first. Whoever wrote on my map has been very helpful. I would have never thought to come out to this desolate place in search of plant life, but a quick search yields exciting results. Neat. I'll take that. It has a strong, sweet aroma. It's very distinctive, too. Not quite what the illustration showed, so that was deliberately misleading. We'll have to do some sorting off screen too, just to even this back out. Though it's actually not that bad. The extra shelf space they added really helps. You know what? We've got like 3 more locations we need to visit, so let's recharge our will to explore real quick. We'll do one more. I mean, we'll do all 3 of them, but one at a time, you know? There we go. Let's do Foxfield. David Chafer specifically name-dropped that place when he was dropping off our mail. We should check that out before I forget about it. Foxfield is a simple, welcoming place. I am tempted to pay a brief visit to an old friend, who is a brewer with his own small tavern in the village. In the end, I decide not to. Plenty to be doing back at the shop. Okay, so it was nothing. Nothing yet, at least. Reuben Ward, the Investigator. It looks like I'm going to have to make a trip to Black Comb. Verona noticed something at the Swinside site that's had me pondering. A piece of slate with a symbol drawn on it in black. Can't think of anywhere else around here where you'd get slate from. That and Bradley Miller keeps insisting that he saw something at Black Comb. Yeah, but he also says he can talk to squirrels. But then again, Bradley Miller does claim that Fairy stole his wheelbarrow. If I'm going to spend a night out in the hills, I'll want to take some eyebright with me. Wouldn't want anyone sneaking up on me in the dark. Cool, yeah, I've got that. Also, you should probably, refrain from raising that death flag quite so high. Wild Coal, Hispid viburnum. The purple berries are recommended by physicians in place of a hair of the dog mentality as a tonic for those suffering the effects of having drunk too much the night before. There are some who consider wild coal a sacred plant, perhaps owing to its rarity, and claim that it is bad luck to pick berries from it. A little awkwardly written, but okay, so it's for hangovers. And we did just get a plant with reddish-purple berries. I guess the thin leaves were just a reddish-purple herring. It is very satisfying identifying these things. Okay, let's go check out the hunting site. The Tomb of the Hunter. The memorial bears the name Swaif Prior. It stirs a memory. He was one of the Drear. Theirs is a lonely life at the mercy of a dangerous addiction. They build a tolerance to the Dranthium sap in childhood, that they might benefit from its potent effects. But they will die if they stop taking it. An unusual plant grows sparsely around the memorial. Does it now? That wouldn't happen to be Dranthium, would it? Swaif Prior. That is an interesting name. We have an entry on Dranthium, but let's have a look at this real quick. Purple flowers, long thin leaves that bear surprisingly sharp edges. Long, sharp leaves. No mention of flowers, but I think that's pretty straightforward. We'll also have to remember to watch for people with green eyes, since that is a side effect of Dranthium addiction. Forest Vair. And green eyes. That was quick. Does it ever stop raining in Undermere? You have a reputation in town for knowing about unusual plants. I need some gray sand fire. Nobody around here seems to even know what I'm talking about. But I hope I'm in the right place now. You are. I do have that one. And it is very interesting that you wandered in right after I found Dranthium. But that is not what he's here for. He's here for gray sand fire, which I think is for dental hygiene. Forest Vair, the Hunter. Ooh, looking very cool there. I approve. Forest is one of the Drear, a group that builds a tolerance to the harmful effects of Dranthium from childhood, so that they can harness the plant's potent mind-enhancing abilities. It comes at a price. They will die if they stop taking it. Rumors that an ancient evil has arisen were too much for Forest to resist. Drear means hunter in the old tongue. He has traveled a long way to kill it. And with that, our cast of characters is almost complete. And he wanted gray sandfire, which... Yep. Teeth. Seems harmless enough. Oh, end of day. That was quicker than I thought it would be. Ember Soul. Anemo ignis. Ember Soul is thought to have protective properties. It is sometimes given as an offering to various deities in return for sanctuary. produces flowers with many petals. Watch out for the leaves. They're razor sharp. Very intriguing, but also something we clearly do not have. I feel like I'd have noticed something with flowers that distinctive. I mean, this one does have sharp leaves, but the flower looks completely different. The Dranthium's a maybe, but we'll just put a pin in that for now. The Great Oak. And nothing else on the map, so I guess that's it. A huge tree stands before me, impossibly tall and wide, bigger than I could have ever imagined any living thing might be. Its upper branches graze the sky. Huh, but no plants or anything. So why would they secretly mark that on my map? Both of the other hidden locations led to secret plants, both of which appear to be very important to the ongoing plot. Intriguing, very intriguing. Anyway, yeah, I think this brings us to a good stopping point. We're at end of day. This puts us exactly halfway through the campaign, at the end of day 7 of 14. No sign of our friend the barrister this time around. We may be done with him now that we've purged his memory, but we've got plenty of other stuff going on. An ancient evil has reared its ugly head, and we've got a series of ritualistic murders taking place all across the countryside, with a supernaturally empowered hunter just rolling into town. We'll hit the pause button for now. I'll take a look at the rest of our document, see if there's any other hidden messages, and we will pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Strange Horticulture, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.